Folks, look at that. That's just plain delicious. This is our easy weeknight meal. This one ain't tough to make. When you try it, you can be surprised. Oh, hello. Hey, let me just get this started. Preheating that at 350. This is another easy weeknight meal. And it's easy. There's no work in this one. Oh, okay, there's just a little bit of work, but it's insignificant. I've got a couple of Cornish game hens. They're sitting here in cold water. They've been thawing over the last hour for me, and they're almost done thawing. I'm going to take these out of the package. I'm going to wash out any ice that might be on the inside of them, if that is the case, and then I'm going to put them in an oven-safe dish, okay? I'm going to get those roasted up. Now with that, I'm doing some carrots and asparagus. It's good. What I want to do is we're going to roast the chicken, we're going to roast the carrots. They roast for different amounts of time. And then we're going to be doing pan searing on the asparagus to bring out a really good flavor. All right, so each of these takes a different amount of time to cook, but this is all a real easy thing. The one thing that takes the longest is the chicken. It takes 1 hour to cook a game hen, a Cornish game hen. So you'll know, they're not baby chickens, okay? They're just a small chicken. It was a chicken that was a long time ago bred down in size in Cornwall, England, thus Cornish game hen. All right, so we'll take these out of the package. We're gonna get started. Oh, and then we'll take a look at all the goodies that we have to make this wonderful dish. This isn't very hard. I've got some spices and herbs and stuff. And when you see how easy this is, you're going to be looking forward to make it. All right, I got these out of the package. It didn't take very long, just unpackaged them. There was a little bit of ice still left in the very center. I just ran some cold water through it, and it took about, I would say, 30 seconds per bird to get that flushed out. Not a problem. These are ready for the oven. All I have to do is season them up a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of white wine and water in the pan before I throw it in there, okay? That's it. I got some carrots here. I've got some asparagus here, and also our spices. We got garlic powder, onion powder, salt, black pepper, thyme, tarragon, and olive oil. Not a lot of stuff here. Pretty basic cabinet stuff. This is stuff that most folks are going to have around the house most of the time. Not all, but most. And these things I like to keep in the freezer all of the time. They sell them frozen to begin with. They're already that way, so you just take them, throw them in your freezer, and when you need a Cornish hen, there it sits. It's all ready for you. Enjoy that convenience. These, not a problem to cook. It just needs a little bit of flavor and a little time to develop what we can do. So what you see here, there's not a whole lot as far as the amounts. You know, I want to use a full thing of this. I find one of these bundles of asparagus is usually about enough for 2 people. A carrot per person or a little bit less. 1 Cornish hen per person. And on the spices, well, that's pretty much just lightly sprinkled over, okay? And I'll show you how we do that here in just a moment. A little bit of prep work, and we need to get this in the oven. All right, let's get this taken care of. This is not, like I said, a really difficult dish. Okay, when I cook this, sometimes I like to have some juices to use as a gravy. Regardless, I like to build flavor. And one of the ways to do that is to put something in the bottom of the pan that's going to allow for that. It's nice and acidic. It's just some white wine. That's about 1/3 of a cup. That's about all that's going to need. If you want to use water instead, use water. That's all right. Use some chicken broth if you want. Now, what am I doing here? I'm putting a little olive oil over the top of these birds. That olive oil is going to help to keep moisture in. Okay? Delicious, easy, fun. Some salt right over the top. All right. Remember, we're not killing ourselves here. This is easy weeknight stuff. We're not looking for something to impress the neighbors or the relatives that are coming. So take it easy on this stuff, all right? This is some thyme. This is what they call rubbed thyme. It's basically powdered thyme, okay? Let's just call it that. It's powdered thyme. Let's sprinkle a little of that on there. As you see, it's a light coating, not a heavy coating. Tarragon tastes really good when it comes to birds, okay? Chickens, really nice with tarragon. Put a little down there in the bottom for the gravy. And I want to save that because we're going to be using it again, all right? This is ready for the oven. That wasn't too hard. Now, if you want, you can also put some pepper on there. Why not? Let's just go ahead. Isn't that easy? And here, if you'll notice, for me, the pepper was an afterthought. It might have been the first thing that some other folks would have come up with. But you can do it or not do it. You can season your chickens however you want, and you can change it each time you cook. So give neat new things a try. Let's get these suckers in the oven. We start them and cook for 1 hour. Alrighty, in the oven they go. 350 degrees is what I preheated that to. And I kept that over to one side because I'm about to put this in there with some carrots, all right? The carrots are going to be cooking for about 40 to 45 minutes. So they go in a little bit after the chicken does. We start a timer for 1 hour. We got a countdown going. Let's cut up our carrots and get the asparagus ready. And my carrots just need to be peeled. I don't like this outer layer, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that off. I'm just using a basic vegetable peeler. These things work great. They're so easy and quick. I'm going to take off this end where it looks really rough. Smooth that up a little. There we go. Take off this one. Sometimes if that other end is a little bit rough looking, go ahead and remove it. Don't feel afraid of that. Asparagus. Now there's a neat trick to asparagus that everybody should know. A lot of people know this, but not everyone. How far down do you cut the asparagus? How do you know where? Okay, well, it's easy. The asparagus tells you where. You just bend it and he'll tell you right where it needs to come off. Now folks, what I'm removing here, if you feel this is wasteful, it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be used. This can be used to make a vegetable stock. Now my asparagus, I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to be rinsing that in a moment and then setting it aside to be cooked at the end of the meal. Now I need to do something with those carrots because the cooking time for these is going to be coming very soon, and that's when I'll need to get them in there. Now when I have a small end like that, often I'll just cook it like it is, okay? When they get a little bit bigger like this, I at least want to split them, all right? But when they're about that size there, I'll usually quarter it, all right? That wasn't so tough, was it? There we go. Now, prepping these. All done. We need to put, again, we're going to go a little olive oil on that. Isn't that nice? It's going to keep the moisture in on those carrots. Need a little salt on my carrots, folks. All right? Some tarragon. There we go. It's a light sprinkling of tarragon. You might say, how much are you using? Well, it's less than 1/4 teaspoon, I would guess. Or maybe somewhere around that. About that much. This isn't rocket science. It's just cooking carrots, okay? So let's see here. We are at 55 minutes. The chicken's been in there for 5 minutes. In another 10 minutes or 15, I'll take these and put them in there with it. And then when the chicken is finished cooking, I'll pull it out and we will cook the asparagus at that time. All right, let's take a look here. Timer, 44 minutes left on the chicken. Let's go ahead and put the carrots in there. There we go. Now, carrots and chicken are cooking. What more is there to do? I'm going to put a fry pan here, and I've got my asparagus ready. I've got all my seasonings for that ready. All I need to do now is also get out, in addition to the fry pan, a couple of plates. And when dinner is finished cooking, it's not going to be hard. All right, one thing I do want to mention, I did go ahead and do some cleanup. My cutting board, the big bowl I was soaking the chicken in, the knives, all of that, I've just gone ahead and cleaned that up. It only took a couple of minutes. So now the only thing that's dirty are the dishes I'm cooking in, plus what I eat off of. That's it. Easy weeknight meals. All right, my timer now says 1 minute is left. I need to turn my oven up from 350 to about 400 degrees. Now the idea there is at the very end of the cook, we're going to raise the temperature, get it up to 400 degrees to get a little browning on that chicken. Cool thing to do. There's one other thing, there we go. One other thing that I wanted to do, and I broke out some cornstarch for this. I want to take the drippings from that pan and turn it into a beautiful chicken gravy. Who doesn't like a little chicken gravy with the roast chicken, right? It's not hard. So anyway, I put an extra saucepan up here for that. And I probably don't need one this big. So maybe I should break out something a little more modest. There we go. We'll see in just a minute which one of those I'll need. Now, I'm going to be heating this up and getting my asparagus in here, and that can start happening anytime since my 1 hour is up. So I'm going to go ahead and start heating that pan. I want to heat it over a medium high. It's a large pan. When this gets hot enough, I'm then going to put some oil in there, put my asparagus in there, and I want to pan sear it at a nice high temperature. I'll add a little bit of salt to it, some garlic and onion powder toward the end of cooking, and that way it gives it a real kick. It's a good flavor. I love my asparagus done this way. It's my favorite way. The cornstarch, let me get a little water in this. Cornstarch is real easy to use as a thickener. And if you have any sensitivities to gluten, hey, you don't have to worry about it that way. If I want, I can go ahead and take the carrots out at any time. I'm going to leave them in there. I checked them and turned them just a moment ago, and they felt still a little bit firm. That's okay. They can stay in there for a bit. Carrots are pretty tough, and they can handle a lot of heat. And so while I'm finishing up that chicken, then we'll deal with that. Now, while I'm finishing the chicken, something I can do is I can separate the chicken from the juices. So I can pull that out, and I'm going to do that now. I'm going to need a separate plate for that. I know, it looks like I'm dirtying up way too many things. And you know what? Sometimes a good meal requires a few extra pans. Do yourself that favor. All right. That looks good. So this is easy. I'm going to take these out. These stuck to the side a little. So again, I'm going to take these out. Now, what's left in this, and there's not much, I'm going to pour the whole thing. If you want to filter it with a strainer, you can, or you can just go straight into the bowl and not worry about the little bits. Personally, for my own, I'm not going to worry about the little bits. I don't mind them at all. There we go. Put them in there. Back in for a little bit of browning up. There we go. I'll pull that flame into the middle a little more. It evens it out on the heat. These can go in at any time. Now I'm using some peanut oil for this. You can use olive oil, but it is a little more delicate, okay? All right, I'm just going to let that do its thing. It's going to cook. When it gets nice and brown, it's ready. Okay, and I try to get it brown all over. So as it's getting most of the way done, I'm going to, at that point, start seasoning it. Now, you can go ahead and put the salt in at any time, but Your onion powder and garlic powder will burn if you put them in too early, so don't do that. Okay, cornstarch. I have a small amount of liquid in that bowl that was from the chicken. So a heaping tablespoon, I'm going to say. That's maybe a tablespoon and a half actual measurement. As you've seen, I'm not measuring a lot of stuff. When you first get cornstarch in water, it just lumps up. It does not want to mix. Just keep messing with it for a minute. It'll mix, it will. See, I'm feeling it. Just my spoon's dragging across it. There we go. Now, right then, it mixed. It's done. That's all it takes. This is starting to come to a boil. As it comes to a boil, I'm going to put the cornstarch in there to thicken it up. There we are, a little closer. This has come to a boil now. We've got good flavor going on right there. So to thicken that, it's as simple as let's pour some of this in here. Not all of it, just a little. And we'll bring it back to a boil. See, it's already starting to thicken now. And if I want to take that chicken fat off the top, I can. It's not a problem. All I have to do is just ladle it off with a large spoon. Push the spoon down into it. Let the oil fall into the spoon. And it's the best way I know of skimming it off the top. Okay, needs a little thickener. See, I'm getting browning. Beautiful browning on that. That's exactly what I'm wanting. That's where the flavor is, folks, right there. As I said, the best way I know of doing asparagus right here. Now, anytime I do a sauce like this, I give it a little bit of time to boil, and that's what this is doing right now. It's just cooking off, it's cooking down and reducing. But something you need to do is you got to taste that sucker. There's no way for you to know whether it needs salt or whatever unless you put a spoon in there, get some and taste it. It's very good. Slight amount of salt, not much. All right, now, garlic powder, gently over these. Onion powder, gently. You see how quickly that garlic powder in the bottom of the pan starts to turn. Turns brown very quickly, and that's all I'm saying is it's going to get too hot and scorch on you, and it's going to off the flavor. So lower that temperature down. Let these finish up for just a moment more. I can pull my chicken out of the oven, and frankly, dinner is ready, folks. Oh, look at that. That is delicious looking, isn't it? This wasn't all that difficult, folks. As you saw, there was not just a whole lot of work in any of this. And yet, right now, we have a remarkable, delicious meal just waiting to be enjoyed. It's just that easy. And it didn't take but just slightly over an hour. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing served up. I want some asparagus on here. Nice game hen. Oh yeah, right there. Beautiful game hen. Now right under this game hen, or just to the side I should say, right here, I'm going to put my carrots. Doesn't hurt to decorate it up just a little bit. Go ahead and have some fun. All right. Now, some chicken gravy. Oh yeah, look at that. Roast chicken with chicken gravy. I don't think it gets much better, folks. There's your easy weeknight meal. It wasn't that much of a chore, was it? It is a joy to get to make wonderful dishes like this for y'all. It really is. I have a good time doing this. I hope you enjoy watching them. Perfect. Oh, man, that gravy's a winner. Well, easy weeknight meal. I'm going to dig in on this. Everything here is delicious, and as you've seen, not heavy on the work side. All right, it really wasn't. I've got a little bit of cleanup to do. Once this is done, there's 4 items back here, a few utensils, and I'm finished. Okay, so it's not really a tough job, and this is an easy one. There's a lot to it too. This is a full meal, and it's very rewarding. Please enjoy it. Please take a look right underneath here in the description box. You're going to see my links to Texas Cooking Today, also to S.A.Trotter Arts. That's the website that I have where I sell my merchandise for Texas Cooking Today. And the recipes are also there, PDF form. Folks, check that out. It's really cool. Thank you for watching this, and please enjoy your meal. Yeah. All right.